Technology in Israel. Let me be honest about it. Technology in Israel is mentor to both of us many years back when we were in Kerting. Let me be honest about it. There is no magic bullet to answer this. It's a process. Yes, there must be a strategic conversation between players and Petronas. Is it happening? To some degree, it's happening. I understand sometimes Petronas putting very high standard, as far as screening serious players. And there is, there's no disagreement on it. I totally agree with you. But also be mindful of the sort of exposure we are in. I mentioned before, this is a high capex, and we want to make sure that players who are part of the game must be competent enough, must be experienced enough that they are part of it. Now, so if you think about how do we bring up more players in Sabah? So in some segment of the work, at certain threshold, what we have done is that we ring fence to Sabahan players only. I know small, I know it's not big. Yeah? Same goes with Sarawak, so that the competition is confined within Sabahan players, and hopefully by doing so, more of those small players, can move up in the ladder, build capabilities, build competencies, and hopefully can play at a bigger league. That is the game plan. But I want to go back to my point I mentioned about consolidation. Yeah, if you really think about it, in Sabah there are many players. There's no, I don't have number with me how many players, but if there's an anchor player, this is where I like this VDPX concept all about, because apart from Petronas, we also bring, I think you guys, KPOC, I think Shell, you are part of it as well. I think Repsol and Murphy. So basically, the net is wider. It's no longer confined to what is within Petronas. So we are asking our partners, can you help as well? And if you look at the list of VDPs, some of those hopefully will grow within the domain. And as you progress, as you grow big, I'm hoping to see some anchor player who can bring in the rest of the players together so that we can be bigger. Now, let me touch a bit of our brothers in Sarawak. I was in Sarawak back in the 90s. Yeah. I started actually I was posted in Sham because of Samarang handover. And I remember back then, we were relying on many of those friends from Philippines. They were the draftsmen, they were the design engineers, they were the hookup engineers and whatnot. And I was a young engineer back then. And I was learning how to prepare work pack. That was almost 30 years ago. Right? And look at where are our friends in Sarawak today. I'm very proud to see some of them even become at least regional players. We have seen Dayang, we have seen Petra, what else in Sarawak? Those are two big names. Of course, the biggest now is Serba Dynamic. It's one of the success stories of our VDP. And the great stories of, I personally interact dengan Tuan Datuk Karim Abdullah, Muhammad Karim Abdullah. And I'm impressed with the vision he got, where he sees this Serba Dynamic in the next many years to come. And I'm very proud. I was on the same platform with him when we talk about IR 4.0. Sarawak company. So I believe, Sabahan as well, if we put our mind to it, have an anchor company. Again, let's face the fact of the matters. The reality is, if you compete currently, there are many scope, what we call integrated. I'm sure you see this, right? This is the way how Petronas do things nowadays. Even to the extent, we integrate the work in Labuan with the work in Kota Kinabalu, with the work in Bintulu all the way down to Kuching. We call it one region. Now, if you are alone, small guy, can you compete? Very difficult. It's a hard fact, hard reality. But we must adapt to the changing realities. Maybe in Sabah, also we are very fortunate, we have our own EP players. I don't think it's EP, it's beyond EP. SIPC, for instance. We have our distinguished colleague here from SIPC as well. So it's a question of how do we use this? We have a platform, right? We have a company. How do we partner up, for instance, with floating provider? That some days we also build our internal capability, become floaters service providers. Yinson, for instance, I'm not sure whether you know, Yinson never played in Malaysia until recently. Yinson is a Malaysian player I'm also very proud of because they play in Brazil, they play in West Africa. They did not start off with Petronas, only recently because of Helang field. So I think, Tuan Haji, I don't have a magic bullet to answer your question. The window is now. We are very fortunate. We have Limbayong coming up. There are more fields to come. I will not mention the name. I don't want to get the market overexcited, overheated. There are more to come. I'm serious about deep water, and I'm privileged to be sitting in this role, and hopefully I will see it through. As far as how do we make Sabah regionally is a focus of many players. So the question is, how do we play service providers, contractors, and whatnot? Ajit Amizi mentioned about talent. It's a bit, I don't want to use the word disappointment lah. It's a bit harsh if I use that kan. Nak cari TMM pun, we don't have Sabahans. Where our friend from Sarawak, if you walk in Houston, don't be surprised, somebody will talk in Iban behind you. Those are riggers, those are crane drivers, those are scaffolders coming made in Sarawak. I've not heard a Kadazan talk behind me in Houston. I've not heard our whatever natives. So I think we Sabahan, I think we also need to promote that this industry is rewarding. Financially, it's a very rewarding. It is challenging. Not many folks Sabahan willing to leave Kota Kinabalu for simple reason. This is heaven on earth. This is the problem. I think kita Sabahan, I'm Sabahan, I've left the state many years back. I don't think I would be here, sitting here. Had I made that decision way back in 98, I went to Vietnam. And the rest is history. So I think, industry players, parents as well, my colleague in Sabah, encourage our children to be part of this industry. Alhamdulillah, I have one son who is following my footsteps. The rest want to become accountant and whatnot, but at least I got one son who is a chemical engineer, soon to graduate, and hopefully he'll be part of the industry as well, in Malaysia or elsewhere. So I think, Tuan Haji, I don't think I have the answer. We have to work together, and I'm more than happy to interact with our friends. I have many interactions with the state. I was, with the Honorable CM as well, and we do talk about how do we bring Sabahan to play a meaningful role in terms of benefiting from industry, at the same time contributing and making a difference in this oil and gas. So maybe Tuan Haji can add.
Just a quick one. Thanks for the question. Very good question. The answer is no jump start. There's no shortcuts. Sorry to answer that. But there's a way to do that. Because VDPX is one of the very good way of doing that. Come up with the creative and innovative ideas from the list that we have, whether it's a plastic painting or whether come up with something and then come forward. I think we were more than willing to listen and to try to accommodate your proposal. So come forward. Any one of you that have ideas, especially if you have new technology that can cut short the time, and also of course at the end of the day is safety and also cost. Okay.